Thank God it's Friday on Talk Radio 105.9 KNRS. It certainly has been, it's probably an understatement, a unbelievable week for Tim and Katherine Ballard and their family. Of course, everything that transpired last Friday and what's been going on all this week. Tim has been out doing one of his freedom tours back in the Boston and Washington, D.C. area. I got a call the other day asking from the people who work with the family if Katherine could come on my show and kind of give us her take on what's going on and how this is impacting her family. And she is joining us right now in studio on the Rob Arquette Show. Katherine, how are you? Thank you for coming on today. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for letting me come on. And this is new for me. People that know me know that I'm not exactly in my comfort zone here. But I just felt that I needed to stand out in support of Tim and my family and just give people something to hold on to as we navigate these very difficult times.
Let me, the obvious question would be, of course, how are you doing? And then how is Tim doing?
We are trying to be strong. I don't know. I can't say we're doing great. We're not doing terrible. There are moments.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been sleeping super great, but we're holding strong.
Mm-hmm. You have a large family. 10 children?
9.
9 children? How are they doing? And what have they, how have you talked to them about everything? I mean, they have to hear the news. Friends are saying, hey, what's going on with your dad? They have to hear the news. How do you talk to them, and how do they handle this?
Well, first I want to say thank you to everyone that has been so kind. We haven't gotten to the part where anyone has harassed me or the children.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been going to school every day, and anyone that approaches them has just offered comfort, support, just saying, we're so sorry for what your guys are going through. Do you need anything? I've had countless friends reaching out to me, texting me, coming over, just offering love and support. And so first, I just want to say thank you to everyone out there that has been so kind and compassionate, and it has meant so much to us. As far as how are the kids processing the news? Well, different ones know different things.
Mm-hmm. Depending on their age.
Depending on their age and what they're exposed to. And so the older they are, the more in tune they are with what's going on. And they're just all kind of looking to me because I'm here and Tim's not home, and they're looking to me saying, Mom, is everything okay? And I'm saying, guys, it's going to be fine.
The older children, those are probably the toughest discussions to have. Is it not, Katherine? With the older children
Definitely.
Who probably understand a lot more than their younger brothers and sisters?
Definitely. We've had a lot of deep conversations.
I saw a clip of Tim, and my guess is probably 5 or 6 years ago, where he said, concerned that people were coming after him or things were happening in his life, and he was struggling with dealing with that. With all this is going on, how long do you think this has been going on, Katherine?
Well, for some reason, when you decide to go against sex trafficking, people come out to attack you on that. We didn't think that would be such a divisive venture, but it has been. And I don't know what to say to say. I'm not trying to claim that it's all orchestrated and some one big person is behind it all. It's been a battle. As we've tried to stay the course on this mission. It's been a battle.
We've had Tim on the show before. I've heard him speak before. It's an ugly, ugly business that he is involved in. How do you deal with that? And has he ever sat down and talked to you about all of this and what it takes to do what he has to do?
Well, when he was an agent, at first he would tell me more details about what was going on, what was involved. And then he realized pretty quickly that was not helpful for me. The women, sorry to be a generalistic person, but women process things differently than men. And he learned, okay, We don't need details. You just say a child is being hurt. I'm going to go rescue. It's this level dangerous. I am not naive. I know that it's a dark world, and he has had to play the role of very dark people to bring about these rescues. And frankly, that has taken a toll on Tim. And you ask me how Tim's doing. He needs to heal. He's been sacrificing his life, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, time-wise. He's given everything to the rescue of children, and it has been really tough on him. He needs to just heal.
One of the issues that I've had with all of this, since news broke about this last Friday and more details have come out, what frustrates me more than anything is the process. And you have allegations with no evidence, but the in this country we believe you're innocent until proven guilty. But in this case, and there are other cases like this as well, that you're guilty until you have to prove your innocence. Does that bother you, the way this whole process, Katherine?
Well, yeah. We were blindsided by this. I just talked about how there's always attacks, but this was very unexpected, very abrupt and vicious, the way it was done. It was very hard as the wife and mother of a big family to have my family thrown so unkindly into the public spotlight.
You mentioned a moment ago that Tim realized early on there was a certain amount of information that he would share with you, and that you felt like you didn't need any more. Did you feel at any time that I really want to know what's going on here, Tim? Sit down and talk to me about what you're having to go through, because he went into some very dangerous situations, I would imagine.
Yeah. I felt like I knew he would say enough. He would say little pieces. I knew what was going on. I know what it takes. I know what it takes to be undercover in a dark world. I'm not confused about what that means. He's going to have to say some bad words. He's going to have to say some disgusting things. He's going to have to pretend to look at some disgusting things. And that's actually really hard for people that loved him and see his spiritual side. That's really hard for them to process, especially in the Utah LDS culture type of, strong religious values that I love, that I cherish, that Tim loves and cherishes. It's hard to reconcile that then this man who is so great and loves God, now he's going to put on a different hat. He's going to go into really, really disgusting places. He's going to play the persona of a trafficker. And that is how he convinces bad guys, oh, we can trust this guy. Okay, bring out the kids. And that is how rescues happen. It's ugly. It's terrible. And I haven't been naive to the fact that means Tim has to say and do things that I never want to hear him say or do. And in some of the documentaries that have come out that shows little clips of him saying, I have to plug my ears. I have to be like, I know you do that, but I don't want to see that. Because I just want, I want to keep you in this pretty little unblemished picture over here. But I'm not naive to the fact that he has had to do a lot of that.
And how much did he struggle with that personally? I mean, because he is a man of deep faith. I know Tim enough to know that his faith is very, very strong, but he has to do things to help these children that he wouldn't normally want to do. I mean, how did he reconcile that and be able to make that all work for himself and for you and your family?
Well, there were times when he was less successful at that and times when he was more successful at that. And it really had to do with how well he was coming home and taking time to decompress and focus on, let's write another book, or let's let's go on a speaking tour about goodness. And when he was able to balance that really well, then things were going better. Mm-hmm. But as everything has escalated and the attacks, and then at the same time the exposure, the opportunities with governments reaching in and saying, we need you, you need to come do this, you need to come do this. And how do you say no to that? How do you say, I actually need to take a break? And as a wife, I'm looking at it going, I want you to take a break. I want you to be here and you need to heal. But then Tim's he really is, he's a hero. Mm-hmm. He can't see that, he can't know that kids are over there being victimized.
Fall is just around the corner and home is the center of it all. At Ashley, seasonal decorating's a breeze with their range of designs and materials. Snuggle up on a family-friendly sectional or an ultra-modern sofa. Or gather outside and enjoy the crisp, cool air with a new fire pit or conversation set. From minor refreshes to total overhauls, Ashley has the essentials to make your home fall functional and fabulous. Shop in-store or visit ashley.com today.
Northwest Handling Systems is hiring now. Recognized for their industry-leading products, they're hiring field service technicians for equipment troubleshooting, diagnosis, and repair. Entry-level technicians start at $27 an hour with full benefits, plus a $2,000 sign-on bonus. A leading distributor of material handling equipment for over 50 years, serving Alaska, Washington, and Oregon. Apply today at nwhs.com/careers. Northwest Handling Systems, an equal opportunity employer.
And he can't put himself first, which is really what he needed to do. He needed to put himself first and say, I'm not the right person for this right now, guys. But he just couldn't do that. And he just was like, well, I need to go. And I support him. I love him so much and I support him. But it has taken its toll. It's taken its toll.
Our guest is Katherine Ballard. Katherine, can you stay for a little bit? I need to take a break and then come back with some more questions for you.
Sure.
All right, more coming up here on the Rob Arquette Show and Utah's Talk Radio 105.9 KNRS.
Put me on a highway, the interstate, a dirt road to any place, long as I'm long gone, chasing down some blue skies in my old truck, to the world out, turn the radio up, sing along to my freedom song.
The Rob Arquette Show on Talk Radio 105.9 KNRS.
All right, welcome back to the Rob Arquette Show on this Friday. We call it Thank Rod It's Friday because it is the end of the week, and we look forward to a great weekend. And our guest in studio right now is Katherine Ballard. Katherine, of course, her husband Tim Ballard, and everything that has transpired, the events that have gone on in the last few weeks. Tim, of course, the movie Sound of Freedom, which I did see, Katherine, just for your, I imagine you did as well. Marvelous movie. I thought they treated the subject matter, which is very, very tough to treat, very, very well. And I thought Jim Caviezel did a great job in portraying your husband. So it was a marvelous movie. But, of course, this week, with everything that has gone on, you wanted to come on and talk about what has transpired. The statement from the LDS Church, I know that's a difficult subject for you to talk about, but it seemed really unusual and rare that the church would make a statement like that. How close of a relationship, in fact, did Tim have with President Ballard? They had talked about this. He was supportive of what Tim was trying to do.
Yeah, Elder Ballard has been amazing. He actually reached out to us before we even moved to Utah because of a book that Tim had written. And it's actually a funny story. Tim walks into the office. He gets a call from Elder Ballard. Yeah. The Elder Ballard. And he said, I want to meet you in my office. We freak out. We're thinking, what did you write in the book? We're going back and thinking, what happened? We're in so much trouble. And Tim was so scared that he actually brought his dad with him. We're from California. He brings his dad up with him to meet with Elder Ballard, and Elder Ballard actually thought that Tim's dad was the author. Mm-hmm. And then my father-in-law said, this is Tim Ballard.
Yeah.
And that started the relationship, and Elder Ballard has been so wonderful, so supportive, acting as unofficial counsel. Just, he would get, if Tim didn't schedule an appointment every month, he would call him and say, "Why haven't you come in?" And we just treasured that relationship. It was such a gift, especially when really hard decisions were being made, like, do we start this nonprofit? Do we continue on in this cause? What is this all about? What do I need to be doing? And Elder Ballard, in just a really loving, grandfatherly way, acted as an unofficial counsel for us.
Did they drift apart at all? Does it remain strong today? How would you describe it today?
Well, I'm going to be very careful because I don't want to offend or be a stumbling block for anyone. Tim and Elder Ballard are very close. They, every time we meet with him, Elder Ballard expresses his love for Tim. Elder Ballard is getting older, and he has a lot of health problems, and so he's not as around and available as he used to be. And we just love and support him, and our prayers go out to him. And the day that it became apparent that he was, health struggling and getting older, and that he wouldn't always be there for Tim cried. Because the thought of trying to keep doing this without this loving man counseling him was, he knew that there's, he's mortal. And there was going to be an end to this counsel, unofficial counsel. And that's been hard.
I got a sense that there was concern that Tim was inappropriately using Elder Ballard's name and to promote Operation Underground Railroad or his business dealings.
Never.
When you heard that, what was your response? And what is your response now?
People are going to say whatever they want. That's the time that we live in. You can say whatever you want. And my response is, Tim never did that. He never did that. Tim was so careful about that relationship. And Elder Ballard was very careful about that relationship because he always told Tim, I don't want to hurt your organization by bringing the church into it, and I don't want the organization to hurt the church, vice versa, by being too open about this. But so they were both very careful. But of course, the LDS world is small within Utah.
Yeah.
So people hear that Tim meets with him. But we were always very careful to just say he just wanted to give us a blessing, talk about how things were going.
The allegations about the women that, were you aware that women were going with Tim on these missions?
I am very aware of the couple's ruse. I know. Is that a new word?
It may be.
Okay, let me explain.
Yeah, explain it.
When you go undercover, if you are a single male walking into a strip club or that kind of environment, there are lots of women around that expect certain behavior by a single male. And Tim never wanted to engage in anything like that. And so he developed what he called the couple's ruse. Now, I want to be careful. How young is your listening audience?
It's an older audience. We don't have children listening to this.
If I offend
and Mom
anyone,
and Dad, if you're in the car with your child right now, you may want to turn it down for a second. But go ahead and explain what he means by that.
So he developed a couple's ruse. They did training on this. They never did this without training first. The idea is if Tim walks in with a female who's posing as his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, then they can pretend to be in the party scene, but when a adult woman or sometimes even a younger child is pressed upon them, she can swat him away or her away and say, no, that's for later. This is my man. No touchy right now. And it was just to play the role of we're setting up something that this is so awful, but it's an undercover world. We're setting up something that we both enjoy, but it's not right now, and this is my man. And it was used to protect the men from having to engage in anything that would be compromising with all these women and children are trafficking victims. And that was so the couple's ruse is to protect that.
Okay. The women would know this, that this was going to be taking place, correct? Who were working with him on these missions. They knew this ahead of time.
There was always training.
Always training. Could they have seen this differently than maybe what Tim had seen and saying, hey, this may have gone too far?
Definitely. I can't speak to what they individually would perceive. I would never want to do it. I could never do what Tim does. I could never do what these women do. I would never want to do that. And I can't speak to their... I only have met a couple of them, actually. But I can't speak to what they would think or what they would expect. I'm grateful for the men and women that are willing to go into these dark places and rescue children. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah,
it's dark.
Katherine, did the women, the women who were involved in this, were they employees of Operation Underground Railroad, and did they volunteer to do this because, like Tim, they wanted to save these children?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, and maybe since I don't know the exact answer, maybe I'm not qualified to speak to this. I think it was a mixed as far as who was an employee and who was contract. And they knew what they were doing because there was training. I came one day at the end of one of the trainings when they were talking about how to
pull this off.
And not everybody made it through training. There were a couple times when Tim was propositioned during a training, like, hey, here's my hotel card. And Tim would call and his assistants and say, they're out. That it's a very confusing, dark world.
And ugly.
And ugly. And I don't know how they do it. I'm grateful that all these children, thousands of children have been saved. Thousands of perpetrators have been arrested. The method and the means is tough to look at.
I've got to take a quick break, and then we'll have just a few minutes on the other side. Can you stay for one more break?
Sure.
All right. More coming up here on the Rob Arquette Show, Utah's Talk Radio, 105.9 KNRS. All right, welcome back to the Rob Arquette Show here on this Thank Rod It's Friday in Utah's Talk Radio, 105.9 KNRS. Our last few minutes to talk with Katherine Ballard, of course, Tim Ballard's wife, allegations against her husband. You've been very forthright and expressing your feelings and what you think is going on here, Katherine, and I do appreciate that. Where do you go from here?
Fall is just around the corner, and home is the center of it all. At Ashley, seasonal decorating's a breeze with their range of designs and materials. Snuggle up on a family-friendly sectional or an ultra-modern sofa. Or gather outside and enjoy the crisp, cool air with a new fire pit or conversation set. From minor refreshes to total overhauls, Ashley has the essentials to make your home fall functional and fabulous. Shop in-store or visit ashley.com today.
Soft, quality cashmere. That's the ethos behind the Naadam brand. In 2013, Naadam changed the cashmere industry by creating heirloom quality sweaters that were more colorful, more accessible, and more sustainable than ever before. Their incredibly soft knitwear is responsibly sourced, surprisingly affordable, and crafted in modern yet timeless styles for every season. From classic sweaters to chic dresses, Naadam has something for him, her, and more. Take 15% off at naadam.co with code SOFT15. That's SOFT15 at naadam.co.
I mean, what happens now, Katherine? I mean, like I said, these are all allegations. No one has come forward with any solid evidence that, yes, this in fact took place. Knowing that, where do you go from here?
Well, like I've been saying, this has taken a toll on Tim. These attacks, especially coming from the way things were released and done really hurt Tim a lot. And actually, we are really looking forward to him taking some time to heal. He's just been going so hard with the movie, with everything, just trying to meet everyone's demands of him. And we're really excited for this next phase in our life where we get to just come together as a family, help him heal from all this that he's done. He has given his life to rescue children. And I think that it's time to say, it's kind of a good thing. His face is too well known, and it forced him to say, okay, I can't go do ops anymore. It's dangerous for my operators, for the children. It's dangerous for everyone. And that's a little hidden blessing because I can say, okay, now let's take some time for the family. Let's heal.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I don't know how he can continue in his current role, knowing his face is all over and everything being talked about it. Has he reached that decision yet?
Yeah, he has.
He said, I can't do it anymore?
Yeah, he is completely done with operations. What he wants to do is work in an advisory role. He has set up so many great relationships with other governments, with presidents of other governments and other nations to help them work on their problems, get the right resources that they need, act as a consultant to help them find the organizations that would be best suited to help their specific needs.
Katherine, I've got just a few seconds, but first of all, thank you for coming in. Thank you for talking to us today. Good luck to you and your family. Please tell Tim hello for us. We've had Tim on the show before. He's always a fun guest. Our hard guy to hold down.
Yes, he is. He is.
And you know that very, very well.
Can I just take a second to
about 10, 15 seconds, please. Go ahead.
I just want to express to everyone, I have absolute faith in God. I love the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm so grateful for the atonement of my Savior that promises true healing. And I just wanted to share that and tell everybody to keep the faith and let's help each other.
All right, thank you. Katherine Ballard joining us here on the Rob Arquette Show.